Alrighty guys, this is Pink Noise. It's a visual novel horror game with an indie developer. I don't know exactly what to expect. This got recommended to me by the developer, and I figured why not check it out, because I do a lot of games like this on my channel. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Let me just see here, because I don't want it to be too loud. It is going to be visual novel horror, like Scarlet Hollow. So we'll see how it goes. Fall comes to Riverwood with chilling winds and the first drizzle. A bleak mist obscures the narrow streets, clinging to the rooftops, tangling in the bushes, and swirling around fields. Fog and murky blackness suit the peculiar suburb, nestled, that's not even a word, nestled amid the forests and mountains. It's a decaying, quiet place, waiting for winter. As the evening wears on, the town is wrapped in thickening twilight, with only a few streetlights serving as solitary islands of illumination in an ocean of darkness. On one such evening, ordinary and cold, 4 teenagers are strolling around an old park, engrossed in a lively discussion. The first fallen leaves rustle underfoot. As the wind reaches the trees, their branches groan out a long, plaintive creak, as if lamenting the loss of their motley attire. Oh, there's an auto reading option. Oh, okay, so it doesn't read it. I guess that just means that it'll keep going. The two of the teenagers, a tall boy and a fair-haired girl, walk hand in hand. Their friend carefully hops from one paved slab to the next, balancing as though a bottomless chasm might yawn open beneath them. A motley, or motley, I think it's motley, group is like a group of people that they all have different characteristics. Like, they all look, nobody really matches anybody else. Everybody has their own little, yeah, it says it's like incredibly, a way that's not in harmony, varied in appearance or character. So that's interesting. Sorry, I'm an English major, so I find this stuff interesting. Okay. So the boy and girl in the front are probably like dating or something. They're walking hand in hand. A quiet, stooping boy in glasses trails behind them, casting glances at the road. Ahead, the street splits in two, then veers sharply out towards a wasteland. Just a half a century before, a tiny school stood there, now only a barely discernible foundation and heaps of broken bricks, choked by stubborn vines, remain to remind them of its erstwhile existence. Year by year, students have taken that path, carrying with them their thoughts and fears, high hopes and grand dreams, for tough exams and first crushes to bullies, bonks on the head, or simply yearnings to be the star player of a local team. Be it aglow in autumn gold, cloaked in verdant summer green, or blanketed beneath snowdrifts, Riverwood will never forget them, just as they'll never forget their town and its secrets. The older a place grows, the more mysteries it keeps locked away. One of the other girls leaps into the distorted blur of light cast by an old street lamp. Ain't gonna catch me. Ava wipes shadowy webs off her cardigan. Gossamer threads only she can perceive. I don't know what that means. She glances at the overgrown bushes, which have long since forgotten the tender care of gardening shears. So everything's kind of like disheveled and all. This writing is really cool. It's very descriptive. So this is like what a spider web is made out of. This is like the fibers of a spider web. This is what it's called.
Сегодня без ужина, чудище.
No chow time tonight. The other girl scoffs at her friend's silly gestures.
Будь Брайан таким же ловким, нам не пришлось бы торчать в школе до ночи. Кабинет химии еще никогда не был таким чистым, как после сегодняшней уборки.
If Brian was as agile as you, we wouldn't have been struck in school after dark. The chemistry room's never been so tidy. She wriggles her fingers to demonstrate, her palms red and wrinkled from the hot water.
Я ж не виноват, что миссис Хоупстоун не потрудилась сохранить достаточно зубов, чтобы не шепелявить и плеваться, а внятно объяснить, что бутылку нужно было оставить открытой.
It's not my fault Miss Hopestone didn't save enough teeth to avoid spitting and lisping. Besides, she should have explained it better. The bottle must have been left open.
Вообще-то объяснила. Но ты положил медицинский спирт не одну таблетку хлора, а 3. Ясное дело, что реакция пошла более бурная.
So this is Michael. Actually, she explained just fine. But you still put 3 chlorine tablets in the rubbing alcohol instead of 1. Surprise, surprise, the reaction was extreme.
Ну и хлопок удался что надо. У меня до сих пор в левом ухе звенит.
Yeah, that bang was something else. My left ear is still ringing. This is Ashley. So this is Ava. Then? So Ava, Michael, Ashley, and then I don't remember him. I wasn't paying attention. Ava stops, hovering in a faint halo of light, and nods. She's never been reprimanded at school before today. Sure, she would have been way more upset if it hadn't been Brian's fault, but still. It's just another adventure, something her and her friends will laugh about one day, and a happy memory is worth more than any reprimand, especially when her parents will probably forget it by tomorrow.
Ладно, ладно.
Ah, Brian. Okay. Alright. He raises his hands apologetically.
В следующий раз, когда снова будем работать в команде, я вас не подведу.
Next time we
Положу 2
team
таблетки
up,
хлора.
I won't let you down. I'll put in 2 chlorine tablets. The group passes a row of houses as dissimilar as one another. The group passes a row of houses as dissimilar to one another as is ever possible in a suburb. The time-worn houses' windows grow faintly in sepia tones, as though the light itself has aged and can no longer disperse the deepening darkness. The buildings they pass seem to be contending for the greatest neglect. Every other resident would be considered an eccentric in any other town. For instance, Gray Bone has leaned on the rusty mower on his front stoop instead of a cane for 2 decades. The abandoned duplex across the road still bears the scars of a long-forgotten fire. Its windows all boarded up. Even during the day, it has a miserable look. The teens keep their distance.
О, дом миссис Харвиц.
Oh, Mrs. Harwood's house. The gloomy old lady had knitted yet another pear-shaped cat and proudly displayed it on the terrace, thus expanding her ugly army. They're cute, though. I like the little buttons.
Точно. Ты же заходила к ней на чай. Малыш что, не извинился?
Right, you had a cup of tea together. Did baby Tony apologize? Once, Ava's brother had flinched one of the cats and taken it home, so I guess that means stole it. Neither of their parents had called any attention to it, so she'd had to explain to herself that taking other people's belongings... Oh, I see. So her parents must be a little, neglectful of their kids. Because this is a second mention of her parents not noticing things. Once Ava's brother had flinched, so I think stolen, one of the cats and taken it home. Neither of their parents had called any attention to it, so she'd had to explain herself that taking other people's belongings without permission was wrong. Yeah, I feel like that should be the parents' job.
Извинялась я, а миссис Харвиц не сказала ни слова, только холодно смотрела на нас и громко сопела. И так перепугала бедолагу Тони, что он потом не мог уснуть полночи.
No, I was the one to apologize. Miss Harvitz didn't say a word. She only gave us a cold stare and sniffed loudly. She scared poor Tony so much that he couldn't fall asleep for half a night.
Ты же так печешься о
You
брате.
have such a giving heart
Простишь, наверное,
when it comes to your
настоящего
brother.
рыцаря.
You
С
might
чего
be
вдруг он
raising a
решил
hell of a
сберечь
night.
кошку?
Why in the world would he want to snatch a cat, though?
Он же совсем мелкий.
He was just a little
Понравилось, вот
kid.
и взял.
He came, he saw, he took it home. There's no need to tell her friend that Tony had intended to give Ava the cat. He knew she wanted a pet more than anything in the world. He thought he could cheer her up with at least a toy one. Aww. That's so sweet. Okay, but this one's creepy. The words are covering it, but this one does look really weird. Hide. Oh, we can look at it. Oh my gosh. It's because his eye is falling, so it looks kind of bizarre. That's cool, though. Tony would sooner give away his breakfast than steal something from someone weaker than him. No doubt that kind of attitude will make school harder for him, but such is his nature. So he would rather give away something that is incredibly, like, useful or important to him. Like, I mean, the idea of breakfast, you know what I mean? Like, you need food to survive. So he would rather give away that than steal something from someone that, you know, it says weaker than him, someone, you know, not as strong as he is. But I think it could also just mean, like, in a, not in such a literal way. It could just be someone, like this person, this is an old lady, but it could also just mean someone that can't afford what he can, or like, you know what I mean, things like that, but we don't have a lot of context yet. Contemplating her brother's heart of gold, Ava sniffs softly. Oh, smiles softly. They pass by Miss Harvitz's terrace, curiously eyeing her odd dolls. Twilight makes the cat's silhouettes look eerie. Their pearl-buttoned eyes glimmer in the fading light, as if they know secrets that have been buried too long.
Если однажды тронусь умом, обязательно
If I go
куплю
crazy
себе
one
домишко
day,
рядом со сквером.
I'm
Соседи тут
definitely
как на
gonna
подбор.
buy a nice crib close to the park. The neighbors here match me perfectly.
Да уж, терпеть не могу эту улицу. Она будто потеряла
Yeah, I
свое
can't stand
время.
this street.
Пойдем лучше
It's like
через
it's lost
площадь.
in time and space. How about we head through the square? No one protests, so she leads them onward, sweeping into the nearest alley. So, who was that? Ashley. So Ashley suggested that we keep going. A gust of wind burst through the narrow walkway, permeating the air with a stench of raw wooden planks and rotting garbage. The houses in the alley look like they've been copied and pasted. They were likely built at the same time. Okay. To house factory workers. Oh, so this is kind of... Okay. So it's like a... Maybe it's kind of a little bit... Got that dynamic that Scarlet Hollow has, where it's like... It's a town that was built for like a specific purpose, but now it's like that purpose, now it's mostly just the people that have grown up here that live here, whereas like Scarlet Hollow, it's the mine, right? This might have been a factory. I mean, this is a factory, so it's like they do a development, you know, for... Okay. That's interesting. So they were likely built at the same time to house the factory workers. The only thing that differs is the light in the windows. On or off, making it clearer whose shift is tonight. So, okay, so the factory is still in operation then. 2 Christmases before, Brian got beaten up here. Some high school students apparently didn't appreciate his sharp tongue. They'd shoved him into a snow bank and packed snow under his sweater, but the most humiliating part was the neighbor kicking them all out. She came onto the doorstep with one of Brian's classmates, a cute but overly chatty girl. By the very next day, the whole school had heard the story about him shaking snow out of his pants and whimpering like a puppy. He would have preferred being rolled into a giant snowman and left there till spring. Brian adjusts the backpack full of baseball equipment, which has crawled down his shoulder, and walks up to Ashley. I'm so fed up with this stupid school. All these teachers, homework, tests.
Учебный год только начался.
But the year just started. That only makes me want to study even less. There's nothing worse than coming back to school after summer. He jumps up over a puddle and takes Ashley's hand. It's like wearing old trainers you've already grown out of. I can't wait for college. When I start working, I'll buy real catcher's gear, or at least a better glove. His palms still hurt from Friday's practice session. The equipment donated to their team left much to be
Бери
desired.
сразу биту. Быстрее окупится, потому что работать тебя возьмут разве
Better
что
buy a
вышибалы
slugger
в бар.
straight away. It'll pay off much sooner. Best case scenario, you can be a bouncer at a bar. Ashley laughs at his childishness. Brian doesn't get the complexity of the world at all.
Папа говорит, что достойную
Dad
работу, как
says
у
a
него,
good job
без хорошего
like his is hard to
образования
find
не
without
найти.
higher education. Ashley grabs her Leo Zodiac pendant. It's a nervous habit, something she does whenever she says something important. It calms her.
И в колледже тоже придется учиться.
College is just another place to study.
Этот мир слишком жесток.
This world's too cruel.
Болезни,
Illnesses, starvation,
А
school.
мне школа нравится.
I like school though. Yeah, well, some people do. I think I did a little bit. But as I was nearing the end of college, I was freaking ready to go. Michael tries to squeeze into the conversation. All along, he's been trailing behind the others, glancing suspiciously at parked pickups as if they might bite. He hasn't kept up with his friends since he noticed two silhouettes in an old Ford. Uh-oh. Oh, geez. The mutilated faces stare back at them. He could have sworn he'd heard a hoarse, gurgling whisper. The light had flashed over one of the doorsteps, dispersing the blackness. Suddenly, both seats were empty again, and the strange vision turned into nothing but a local flour mill uniform hanging from a grab handle. Michael wipes the sweat off his forehead and listens carefully to his friends.
Конечно. С твоими оценками, Майки, мне тоже нравилась бы школа.
Of course, I'd love school if I had your scores.
Вот-вот.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I was never the best in school, but it gave me a structure, and I think that can be helpful, but it's also stressful. Agreeing, Brian quickly squeezes Ashley's hand.
Может, тоже очки надеть?
Maybe
Вдруг
I
через
should wear
них домашние
glasses
задания
too.
не будут
Sounds
казаться
like
такими скучными.
homework doesn't look so boring through them. They walk by the Murdoch's front garden and onto a street flooded with pink and blue neon store signs.
Зря ворчите. Всего 3 года в школе осталось. А потом, представьте, совсем другая жизнь начнется. Мы и общаться, может, перестанем.
You'd better stop complaining. We only have 3 years of school left. Just imagine, life's gonna be completely different afterward. We might even lose touch. To Ava, the idea of moving away feels like teleporting to an unfamiliar planet. So many new people, places, and interesting stories. She hasn't even fully explored Riverwood yet. In her mind, the town's old houses and old residents still harbor so many secrets, enigmatic and dark. In comparison, some unknown huge city feels like a bottomless well, impossible to fully drain, even if you had 100 years. In a future like that, it would be hard to make time for anything from the past. But she doesn't plan to forget her loved ones forever.
Станет помехой.
If
Папа с
friendship's
друзьями из
real,
других штатов
distance
каждый день
means
созванивается.
nothing. My dad calls his friends from other states every single day. She's tempted to add that they mainly have business conversations and argue often, but they don't need to know that. In her mind, her parents are role models everyone should strive to imitate, not just her and her brother. There isn't a single family in the entire world happier or more close-knit than Ashley's, and that's nothing but the truth.
Ну, чтобы нас разлучить, Эшли,
Well, a
нужно что-то
couple of
покруче пару грозных
cornfields,
полей и
a
границ
state
штатов.
border, and state... Well, a couple of cornfields and state borders ain't enough to break you up.
Да при чем тут папа Эшли, ваша любовь
What the
и
hell do
кукурузные
Ashley's
поля?
dad, your love, and
Посмотрите, что вокруг
cornfields have in
происходит.
common? Ava stops and points toward the houses swaying in the
А у нас
darkness.
здесь вообще происходит хоть что-то?
Is anything really
Кажется, за
happening up
последние
here?
годы самой громкой новостью
Crunk
был
Jim
пьяный
driving a
Джим,
tractor
заехавший на
into a
тракторе в
ravine was
огород.
practically the only breaking news here in 6 months.
Ну как же?
Well,
Взрослая
adulthood
жизнь
is a real
настоящее
challenge.
испытание.
People grow up and they start to
Люди
feel
вырастают,
sorry that time
потом
flew by
начинают
so
жалеть, что
fast,
время так
and they
быстро
want to
ушло,
experience school
опять
life
хотят
again.
школьные годы.
I feel like she has so much insight into this because she's practically raising her brother, right? She pauses, searching for the right words. Quoting someone else is one thing, but will she soon regret those bygone days herself? After all, Ava already recalls her early childhood with nostalgic warmth. Back then, every little thing felt like it was brimming with wonder. Now a doll is no longer a sorceress princess, or a traveler from a faraway world. A toy soldier is just a piece of plastic. And a blanket no longer serves as a battlefield for alien creatures. That's cute. Oh, okay. Making stories up for others is simple, but how are you supposed to fix yourself? Maybe the older you get, the duller and more colorless the world becomes.
Это как вернуться в сказку, которую не
It's
ценил
like going
раньше.
back to a fairy tale you weren't grateful enough for earlier.
Это красивые слова, не больше. А посади взрослых обратно за учебники, так на следующий день взвоют. Не помню сказок, где нужно было читать стихи Уолта Уитмана. А ты, Майкл?
They're just nice words, nothing more. Bring adults back to the textbooks, and they'll howl all day. I don't remember any fairy tales where the characters were forced to read Walt Whitman's poetry. What about you, Michael?
Я тоже.
Me neither. The friends stroll from one store to the next, looking at the flickering signs. Up close, they no longer seem bright and cheerful. They look rather ramshackle and out of place in the dilapidated suburb.
Пойдем по домам?
Let's go home, okay? Dad's on shift today, but if he comes back to grab a bite to eat, I ain't there. Brian scratches his neck and sticks out his tongue. Ashley laughs and punches him in the shoulder. Michael, trailing behind everyone, suddenly stops and looks at the only sign that still sparkles brightly and cheerfully as the day was hung.
Зал игровых автоматов открыт.
The arcade's
Там,
open.
наверное, почти
I doubt
никого
there's
нет.
anyone there this late.
Можно поиграть
We
в
can play
Street
Street Fighter. Usually calm and quiet, he now blossoms. Behind his thick glasses, his eyes shine with passion.
Точно. Никаких надоедливых подсказчиков,
Totally.
мелюзги,
No stupid
придурков и
helpers,
старших
suckers, or
классов.
high school jerks. The boys lean against the dusty window, as happy as if they're meeting their idols. The girls only snort in irritation.
Кто-то, кажется, собирался бежать домой, чтобы не отхватить пару затрещин от папочки.
What suddenly... What? Suddenly you're not gonna run back to your crib to avoid daddy's shell-lacking? I guess his, like, you know, reprimand.
Готов рискнуть. Шанс
I'll
получить
risk
по
it.
башке
There's
от
always a
отца есть
chance
всегда.
that I'll kick you in
А
the
вот
head.
покидать
But a
ходуки
chance to
и не
throw
стоять в чертовой очереди к игровому автомату.
Hadokens and not wait in a freaking line for a game, now that's rare.
Немного им нужно для счастья, да?
It takes so little time to make them happy, doesn't it? Ashley glances at her friend.
Пусть поиграют.
Let him play.
А вы
By the way,
слышали
did you hear about the
по-моему, об
arcade
игровом
machine that
автомате,
appears in the hall
который
by itself?
появляется в залах сам по себе?
Ashley rolls her eyes. Ava's fantasies really have little... Ashley rolls her eyes. Ava's fantasies and reality have little in common. Her friend refuses to grow up. In her world, even a tattered old shoe might open up its jaws and spin some ridiculous yarn. And that's exactly why Ashley adores Ava. She's so incredibly different from Ashley's overly rational parents. And that from Ashley, too. So Ashley's always going on about her parents, right? Her family. Yeah, Ashley loves her family. But here she's also saying that her parents are overly rational and that she likes Ava because Ava is different. With her, getting bored is an impossible mission. Even if they were both locked in an empty basement, Ava would still manage to discover something fascinating there. She'd pull Ashley in and get her into trouble again. They'd giggle about it later. But Ava doesn't need to know that. It isn't like anyone can stop her
Ты
anyway.
начинаешь играть и не можешь остановиться.
You start playing and can't stop. The game never ends. It's impossible. But you try over and over again, forgetting about eating or even going to the bathroom. Over and over again, not thinking of your parents over and over again until
Пока у тебя не закончится
you run out of your allowance and can't afford breakfast and stay hangry for the rest of the week because you're dumb. Michael peels away from the glass and adjusts his lopsided glasses.
Этот автомат не так
Well, that
страшен,
doesn't
если у
sound
тебя
so
и так нет
scary if
карманных
you've got
денег.
no allowance to begin with. Wanna go in, or what?
Господи, они смотрят на
Gosh,
нас,
they're
как
looking at
собаки
us
на
like
миску с
dogs
кормом.
staring at a steak. Ashley waves her hand authoritatively.
Нам страшновато одним
It's
идти
creepy to
домой
go
до
home when it's so
темени.
dark out.
Ну,
But if
если
you
вы
win
выиграете
100
сотни билетов,
tickets,
приз
me and
выберем
Ava are
веселый.
gonna pick a prize. Okay, I guess we're doing some games. Chill vibes. The spacious room is somehow stuffy, permeated with the stench of hot plastic, unsuccessfully covered by pungent berry air fresheners. Let's take a look around, shall we? We've got Cosmo Planet. Planes 4. This is like a platformer over here. Shark Dinner. Back to something. And then AKDK. It's like ACDC. The Game Boy down here. The Magic 8 Ball. The Rubik's Cube. Oh my gosh, Slinkies. Everything you'd find in a typical, you know, arcade, but a mask? That's different.
Запах бездарно потраченного времени.
As if this shack smells nothing like school. The clamor of screensavers and demo walkthroughs melds into a terrible cacophony. No wonder the zoned out cashier is shielding himself from it with a set of greasy, cushioned headphones. The walls are plastered with photos, promotional flyers, and all sorts of other paper trash. However, one ad stands out. If you beat a record, you can win tickets and exchange them for prizes. Such generosity was easily explained. With the start of the school year, kids have a bit more cash in their pockets than usual. There's no one inside except the cashier, yet the floor is peppered with trash, from crumpled soda cans and chocolate bar wrappers. The arcade closes in 30 minutes. Local kids can only hang out here at this hour in the summer. The hall is packed with all sorts of arcade machines, each game's name glowing invitingly. Clips of characters deliberately falling to beat different levels flash on the screens over and over again. Oh, deliberately failing to beat different levels. LOL. Donkey Kong! Oh my gosh. Yes. There's Street Fighter. I'm kind of like... The boys start searching for the most interesting game. Well, they were talking about Street Fighter earlier. Elliot, Davis, Andrew, Brooks. None of their names are on here. Oh, I can pick one. This one looks cool because it's got the... It's got a thing covering the title. Makes you curious. Oh, is it Jenga? I think it's Jenga. Let's do Donkey Kong. Oh, I see. It just looks like it's cone. But it... Okay, so they're just trying to make it look like... An arcade golden oldie. The game machine is ancient and in poor condition. The sign barely even flickers anymore. One of the buttons is cracked. Yeah, they're trying to make it like, not copyrighted. But I'd be careful having the real name in the game. I don't know. I've consumed a lot of media, and as everybody else in the world, and in, a lot of games, and a lot of manga that I've read. If they have stuff that references real stuff, they make like a, like they try to make it as similar as possible to the reference, but they change the name. So just beware, because you don't want to get stuck in a battle with, you know, Nintendo. Let's see, Street Fighter. The best game the hall has ever seen. Ryu and Ken are frozen on the signboard, ready to jump each other. The floor around the arcade machine is brightly polished, worn down by students' sneakers. Galaga. Okay, I see. This was one of the most famous games. Now this veteran arcade cabinet is used only while the others are busy, or when a couple of truly insane nerds try and fail to break the record of someone named Lily the Rat once or twice a month.
Вот он!
It's over here. Temporarily out of order. No cashier cannot fix it. It hasn't been wrecked the way some of its time-worn neighbors have. Even so, the buttons and plastic casing bear scuffs, cracks, and grubby marks left by countless kids' hands. Even so, the buttons and plastic casing bear scuffs, cracks, and grubby marks left by countless kids' hands. Worst of all, instead of some thrilling music, the machine is emitting only a hoary wheeze, like an old man struggling to clear his throat instead of pushing a death rattle out of his rusty lungs. A piece of cardboard with blood-curdling inscription is struck onto the screen. Temporarily out of order. No cashier cannot fix it.
Боже, почему ты так несправедлив?
God, where is your justice?
Какой у задротов бог?
Who's the god of computer nerds? The monkey holding the barrel? Brian grumbles something in response, but Michael just shrugs.
Мастер приедет не раньше следующего
A technician's coming, but not till at least next Tuesday, so y'all need to choose some other game. Try Road Blasters. It's the freshest one here. The cashier points to the brand new arcade game, displaying a car blowing up and drowning in a fiery pixelated cloud. Dang it. Michael's voice trembles. He seldom lets himself betray such emotion, but Brian has his back.
А что еще есть?
What else have you got, other than cars?
Тогда предложу вкуснейшую акцию.
All that and a bag of
Если
chips.
попадете
If you
в
rank
таблицу топ-5 Pumpkin
in the
Man,
top 5
получите
Pumpkin
двойной
Man,
приз.
I'll give you a double prize.
Ладно, в этот хлам почти
Alright.
никто не играет.
No
Так
one
что у
really
нас
plays
неплохие
this
шансы
trash.
на
We've got a real shot at setting a record. Kitty. Oh. A gray cat lounging. Oh, is it like Pac-Man? Yeah. A gray cat lounging on a chair next to another machine captures the girl's attention. 4 letters shine on her pink collar. Lucy.
Какая прелесть!
So sweet. Pit. Yeah. Aww. The cat flattens her ears and grumbles.
Ставлю $5 на то, что она отвыкла.
I
от
bet you
такой
$5 she doesn't
монотонии,
remember
которая
how
не
clean
понравится
hands with
снайперу.
no cheese ball dust on them feel. Aw, cats work so hard to freaking take care of their coats.
Люси похожа на кошку, которую мама
She
пыталась
kinda looks like the
нарисовать в
cat
прошлом
mom was
месяце.
trying to paint last month.
Дай-ка угадаю.
Let me
На
guess, the
картине у
cat in the
кошки были
painting had
животы и пара щупалец.
mandibles and a pair of tentacles.
Ох, если бы
Ugh,
только
I
у
wish.
кошки.
She was just in
Она
the
лишь часть
background.
фона.
Mom
Mama
paints
рисует
people, you know
людей.
how it is. Ashley knows. She wishes she didn't, though. Those paintings are why she prefers inviting Ava over rather than visiting her. Well, one of the reasons, anyway. They'd had a slumber party at Ava's place twice. Both nights, Ashley had been plagued by nightmares. The root cause was a few masterpieces Ava's mom considered her favorites. Compared to those monstrosities, plain old horror movies were practically bright, cheery cartoons. Meanwhile, the boys approached the coin-operated Pumpkin Man machine. Instead of usual Mr. or Mrs. Pac-Man, a bright orange pumpkin is flying around tough levels, eating licorice candies. The display sears their eyes with poisonous shades as a bunch of colorful blots chase the voracious pumpkin.
Как думаешь, это призраки?
What do you think? Are these ghosts? Michael peers at the
Здесь
sign.
нарисован охотник,
Here's a
который
hunter
стреляет в
shooting at
штык
the
из
pumpkin
ружья.
with his
Тогда
shotgun.
это неупокоенные души
They're
охотников.
They're restless hunter souls, then.
Отлично.
Awesome.
Скорее дайте им
Let
поймать
him catch the
рыбу, и все
pumpkin.
будут счастливы.
Then everyone's happy.
Охотники в
The hunters are
могилах,
safe in their graves, and we're home. Interesting. Brian decisively draws a handful of coins from his pocket and inserts them. The coins clatter through the machine's metal innards and settle in its stomach. The maze dissolves into pixels and rearranges itself into the first level. Its corridors are specked with candies, and the ghosts begin darting ravenously around their cage.
Домой? Без призов?
Back home?
Нет, пока не
With no
обчистим
prize?
прилавок,
I
я
ain't leaving
отсюда не
till
уйду.
we empty out that prize counter. The cashier shudders at the thought.
Закрываемся через
We close in
полчаса.
half an hour. Brian winks at Michael.
Тогда у него останется еще 15
Then he's gonna have
минут, чтобы
15 minutes
поплакать
left
над
over to
пустым
cry
прилавком.
over his empty counter. Oh no, I have to play it. Oh god. Oh no.
Сейчас.
I got him. Oh,
Теперь
ouchie.
моя очередь. Так, этот уровень наш.
Сейчас.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to... Oh goodness. I'm trying to get down here. Ah! Oh no. Okay, but it does keep the... Okay. Let's go.
Теперь моя очередь.
Go. Oh no. Okay. Oh, it didn't turn quick enough. This is hard to do.
Сейчас.
I've never been amazing at Pac-Man, though. I think this part is the hardest section.
Так, этот уровень наш.
This top part.
Так, этот уровень наш. Теперь моя очередь.
I ran straight into him. Okay. So I've got a few lives left.
Сейчас.
Okay, go back. Oh Jesus. Go.
Теперь моя очередь.
It's not exactly moving the way I'm moving.
Вот так.
That's
Давай
it. Give me
сюда
the tickets, you
билеты, никчемная
stupid little
железяка.
slab of iron. The cabinet releases 50 tickets that could be exchanged for an interesting item. Although they'd like to keep playing a bit longer, they've run out of spare change, and Brian would never ever borrow money from a girl. Michael feels a bit awkward since he's never had any pocket money at all, but a friendly slap on the back snaps him out of his thoughts.
Молодчина, Майкл!
Good job, Michael.
Играл
You
как
played
зверь.
like a
Ты тоже
beast.
справился куда лучше, чем
You did
сегодня
too,
на
a lot
уроке химии.
better.
Не уверен, что смог бы
on
пройти
this
тот
than
уровень, где
chemistry
призраков
class.
больше, чем конфет.
You two did a lot better on this than in chemistry class today. Not sure I could have completed the level where there were more ghosts than candies. Brian looks around with a satisfying smile. But to his disappointment, the girls aren't there to celebrate his triumph. They're just emerging from the bathroom, discussing
Вы
something.
такое пропустили!
You missed something
На
amazing.
площадь сел космический
Did you land a
шаттл?
space shuttle?
Нет?
No.
Тогда не
I
вижу
don't
повода
see any
для
reason
бурной
for such
радости.
delirious joy. How dare they, like... I mean, I know this is just the characters. But, like, you know... Not every girl doesn't like games. Brian points at the tickets Michael's holding.
Это покруче любого шаттла.
Nah,
Давайте
what we did
поскорее
was
выберем
way
приз.
cooler than e-shuttle. Let's go. High time we picked a prize. The cashier isn't around. The only movement in the whole arcade is a decorative bamboo curtain slowly swaying behind the counter. The cashier's headphones are still lying on the lower part of the counter, and a lonesome sausage is rolling around in a jar. Ew. All of a sudden, the hall seems empty.
Куда он подевался?
Where did he
Не
go? Dunno. Brian carefully approaches the counter and raps on the table with his knuckles. They hear shambling behind the bamboo curtain. Someone exhales loudly and they all freeze. The game machines start beeping incessantly. The signboard lights dim as devouring darkness creeps into the hall. Ava impatiently examines the counter, the prizes and the posters tacked up one on top of another. Then she shouts,
Hey,
"Hello,
is this
anybody
кто-нибудь
here?" No
Ладно,
reply.
пойдем по домам.
Alright,
Не
let's
хочу ждать
bounce.
этого
I don't want to wait
фрика.
for this freak. Oh, that scared me, bro. The cashier takes off his mask and bursts into laughter.
Видели бы вы свои лица.
You should see your
Мы даже
faces.
не вскрикнули.
We didn't even gasp.
Посредственные
What a boring
розыгрыши.
prank. The cashier grimaces, as though he's taken a swig of lemon
Тоже
juice.
мне критики.
Ugh.
Ладно,
critics.
выбирайте приз.
Alright, please
Вижу,
pick a
лента у вас
prize.
приличная.
I see you've got plenty of tickets. Yeah, I should have noticed that the mask was gone, too. Game Boy's probably too expensive. 10,000 winning tickets. The best prize ever. The boy's wildest dream. I wonder how long you'd have to play to win this many tickets. 1986 Topps baseball card set, 40 winning tickets. The card's price has slumped since everyone rushed to buy them a few years back, hoping to sell them at a profit later, even if they aren't interested in sports. They should have a thing where you can click when it's going by, where you can just click and it'll just show all the words. It's just convenient for anyone who likes to go quicker. Brian's personal collection is only missing the 1986 and 1984 sets. He'd love this. Rubik's Cube, 35 winning tickets. A good but hard puzzle. Michael loves this stuff. He'll probably solve it in 15 minutes. Magic 8 Ball. 50 winning tickets. A Magic 8 Ball. Ashley would love this toy, as she believes in fortune telling and horoscopes. Ah, so you'd think that maybe, we have to pick one to raise one character kind of thing. Okay. A Slinky. An American Golden Oldie. He can perform lots of simple tricks. Ava's promised her younger brother she'll get him one just like this. Aww.
Предлагаю наградить лучшего игрока сегодняшнего вечера. Майкл, хочешь купить?
She's looking at
Прикольно, я таких не видел.
The mask. An award for the best gamer of the night goes to Michael. What do you say? You want a Rubik's Cube? Looks fly. Never seen one like this before. Michael nods shyly. He's not used to getting anything right on the first try. He isn't thrilled about the prize, but Brian could have simply chosen the magic 8-ball for his girlfriend, or the slinky for Ava. He's known them way longer. But no, he chose Michael. He's on cloud 9. People are finally noticing him.
Девчонки, вы не против?
Girls, you don't mind, do you? Oblivious to the world, Ava's just staring at the leather-faced mask stretched over a jar of cheap marinated sausages. Ew. The mask is made of leatherette, not latex or silicone. It looks so realistic. Of course, up close it isn't as menacing as in the movie, but the unknown artisan clearly put immense effort into it. Ava has watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 times. The family diner is her least favorite horror scene. Oh, is her favorite horror scene. I'm so sorry. She wants to ask the cashier where he got the mask so she can buy one for
Да
Halloween.
здесь и выбрать-то больше нечего. Я рассмотрела коробку из-под шара. Дешевая подделка. В нем маловато ответов. И теперь есть шары куда круче и интереснее. Бери, Майк. И давайте уже уберемся отсюда куда подальше.
There's nothing else to choose between. I took a look at the magic 8-ball box. It was a shoddy fake. I got very few answers. Modern ones are way cooler and more interesting. Take it, Mike. Let's get out of here. The cashier collects the tickets and tosses the cube to Michael, who
За
beams.
остаток билетов могу дать вам еще кое-что.
Let me give you all something for the rest of the tickets. Oh no, don't take it.
Никто не знает, что на нее записано.
No one knows what's recorded on here. I just found it in the hall once. Oh my gosh. Bro, that could be anything. Why would you ever? He's oblivious. Why is she mad?
То есть?
You mean you're just gonna give us somebody's cassette instead of a real prize? Oh, I see. But Ava finished explaining the mask. But Ava finished examining the mask, swiftly snatches up the prize and stows it in her bag.
Супер! Мы в большом плюсе.
Booyah, extra profit. Brian grimaces as the cashier tucks the trinkets into his wallet. Most likely no extra prize ever even existed, and the cashier is just pawning off some junk on them to pocket their tickets. Chances are he's pulled that trick before. Who knows, next time he might try handing out his socks to some dusty old Tiger Electronics handheld.
Кажется, нас изрядно облапошили.
Wait, what did it say? Oh, I see. He might try handing out his socks or some old, dusty old. Okay.
Это странная и таинственная кассета.
It's a
Неужели тебе мало?
It's a strange, mysterious cassette. Isn't that enough? As if teasing them, the light from the arcade machines gleams directly on the coveted Game Boy.
Мало.
No, it's not. They head towards the exit. So, do you have to get so much per day to get the Game Boy? Because you could just, like, save your tickets and come back later. When you've had it, when you get enough over time. You know? Most of the signs are already off, submerging the thickets, basements, and narrow alleyways in darkness. It splashes out onto the square, engulfing it in blackness. Only a few pickups and locked bicycles are still around, all parked by Marshall Sue's bar. The wind sweeps over the fields. The element that usually toys with the harvested corn now mourns forlornly. Now moans forlornly, plunging the suburb into melancholy. Winter will change everything. Stores and bars will be strung with sparkling beads of colorful lights, and the snow will smooth the wrinkles and scars of old Riverwood. The town will take on a deceptively pretty and cozy facade. As a kid, Michael loved strolling around there during Christmas vacation, munching on hot pies and watching snowflakes fall through the thick windows of a coffee shop. So it does work here. If it's going here and then you click, it works. So for some reason it was just in that one little part where you're looking at the prizes that it doesn't do it. Back then, he never noticed the aging buildings, chipped concrete, or the glooming people trying to fake a smile. In autumn, however, the suburb's flaws stand out more sharply. It looks unwelcoming, gray, lifeless. No wonder Ava calls it the season of ghosts. Just thinking of it gives him the creeps.
Кажется, мы припозднились. Бабушка и дедушка будут недовольны, когда я вернусь.
Well, we're late. Granny and Grandpa will be
Тогда
upset.
ты ничего не потеряешь, если сделаешь это чуточку позже.
If that's the worst that'll happen, then you may as well stay out a little later.
Ну, Майк, покажешь класс?
Come on, Mike. How about that Rubik's Cube?
Настоящий повелитель
Show us
тыквы.
what you got. You should have seen him. A hella pumpkin master. Michael humbly takes out his toy and twists a few of the layers. But watching the colorful squares slowly line up is boring as hell. Everyone knows it, even Michael.
Потрясающе. Ну
Nice.
что, еще потратим
What
время?
else are we gonna waste our time on? How about pouring water from the school fountain into the river? Ava pulls out the cassette and waves it at her
Вот
friends.
на это время
Now
точно
here's something
стоит
worth our
потратить.
time. What do you think? Is it going to be a movie or a cartoon? Now here's something worth our time. What do you think? Is it going to be a movie or a cartoon? Bro, it could be neither. Disappointed in the Rubik's Cube, Brian glances at their extra
Надеюсь,
prize.
что-то интересное.
I really hope it's worthwhile. Maybe some maniac reported himself abusing his victims and can't wait to make it public. Why would that be worthwhile?
И воняет от нее
It
жутко.
reeks. Nobody knows why Ava's sniffed the cassette. She hands it to Ashley, who also grimaces at the stench.
Брай.
Oh, like Brian. Like she was handing it to him. Brian sniffs it too. Oddly, instead of old plastic, it stinks of lake silt, acidic rust, stagnant water, waxed leather coated in sweat. The odors mix together and make the most unimaginable. The odors mix together in the most unimaginable way, yet each is still distinct.
Это странно.
That's weird.
Вот и я о том же.
That's what I'm talking about. We gotta see this. Suddenly, Michael shrieks and swears. The friends spin to face him. Michael shakes his finger and sticks it in his mouth. He grips the cube as if he's about to throw it away, but forces himself not to. Ashley glances at her bewildered friends. They look just as lost as
Если
she
будут
is.
не сахарные, то странно именно это, а не запахи кассеты.
Unless that cube's made of sugar, that's totally weird. Even weirder that the cassette's than that nasty cassette.
Что случилось, Майк?
What happened, Mike? The boy puts the cube in his pocket and forces a smile. His face is covered in sweat and his eyes dance about anxiously.
Защемил палец.
It's all
как и
good,
всего.
just pinched my finger.
Неудачно
Must have turned
повернулась.
a layer the wrong way. It hurts, but Michael doesn't want to look weak in front of his friends, and he certainly doesn't want to scare them. The whole thing felt strange, pointless.
Помяни мое слово. В месте, где не чинят игровой автомат
Mark my
Street
words,
Fighter,
an arcade
не знаешь,
that's
что
never
такое хорошая
bothered
игрушка и веселье. Предлагаю бросить
to
кубик
repair
на
Street
ходячий
Fighter
автомат.
doesn't know what fun it
Как
is.
разлетятся
No
детали.
wonder their prizes are junk. How about we just throw them under Abraham's truck? Just imagine the pieces flying apart. Abraham drives a massive tanker truck, shipping milk across town. Before then, he spent years as a driver for the local flour mill. His old red truck is already a town legend. You can hear its roar all the way from the other side of Riverwood.
Это будет невероятно.
Wow, that'd be
Думаю,
incredible.
Спилберг обязательно
Steven
снимет
Spielberg's
фильм об этом
gonna
событии.
shoot a movie about it one day
Посмотрим,
for
почему.
sure.
День и так
Ugh,
безумно
today was a crazy waste of
беспонтово.
time. Let's just go home. Nobody disagrees, so they head to the town's newest district. There isn't much junk lying around here, as there is in the park. These residents in this area are relatively wealthy. Ashley's house is the first place on their way back. The friends stop by her family's decorative fence. Michael likes it here. The house feels alive, bright, full of energy. Not that he and his grandparents live in a junkyard, but their place is old, engulfed in greenery and quiet. Old things always stay right in their places, and new ones are rare. If the TV still works, there's no need to replace it. If the couch isn't falling apart, why get rid of it? It could last through at least one more generation of kids. The only new thing his grandfather has brought lately is a car. But, well, that was for a special reason. Michael's life is quiet, like a little mouse, burrowed in books and magazines. In that sense, Ashley is his complete opposite. Just like their houses. An old single-story building versus a giant mansion that takes up half its plot. I mean, I don't know if I would call this a mansion, but I would say it's big.
Эш, у тебя же есть старый видеоплеер в сарае?
Ash, you have an old VHS player in your shed, don't you?
Предлагаешь посмотреть кассету?
Yeah. You want to watch the cassette?
Это могло хотя
Well,
бы
it could make our
немного
evening a little
сделать
bit better,
вечер
but
интереснее,
don't
но
our boys gotta get
нашим
home?
парням, насколько...
Instead of answering, Brian jumps over the fence and waits for his friends to follow. I'm trying to think. I love that they're giving little snippets of, like, each character. You know, so that we got, like, a little bit of what Ashley thinks. Like, she likes, that Ava's different. That she has, because her family, like, she looks up to everything in her family. She's, you know what I mean? But Ava's kind of like, she does her own thing. And that's kind of because Ava doesn't have the family environment that Ashley does, and Ava would actually like to have that. And Brian likes Ashley's place because it's also different than his. His is quiet and old, and hers is, like, newer and, like, more full of life is the word that they used. You know, like, we're getting little snippets of each person's own opinions, which takes a lot to develop as a writer. You know, like, that many characters, and to try and lay it out so that it's not confusing. I think they're doing a good job. So Brian wants to go.
Майкл, а ты?
Brian looks excited, like he's about to embark on the best adventure of his life. Grinning from ear to ear, he turns to Michael. Did you solve the cube?
Нет, завтра попробую еще раз.
No, I'll try again tomorrow. Let's check out that tape. He should have started doing his homework long ago instead of wandering through the streets. By now, his grandmother might be about to call the police and demand a search party for her grandson, but he hardly wants to go home. Why not have her parents just let the grandma know that he's here? Michael stares pensively at his finger, blood still oozing out of the wound. The nail and flesh have been cut on with a sharp edge. The worst part is the feeling of the cube growing right inside his pocket. Oh, it's got something in it. The cube covered in bloody fingerprints. Is it alive, guys? The cube that had suddenly been etched with an inscription invisible to anyone but him. 4 carved out letters. Your. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. And then the carving disappeared, as if it had never been there.
Чего встали? Пойдем в сарай и поглядим, что за запись мы раздобыли.
Let's go check out what kind of recording we got. Do you think maybe you go to the arcade and you get each thing, and they each have a word on it? As far as the friends are concerned, Ashley's shed is the best and coziest place in the whole suburb. They spend most of their evenings there in winter, when there's nowhere else to hang out, and a high risk of being targeted by the high school's snowballers. So they must not be in high school yet? I don't know, maybe, or are they just different from, like, you know, they're just the nerds, so they don't vibe with the other high schoolers. Because they look like high schoolers to me. There's plenty of space for board games and fooling around, and they can be as loud as they like, and Ashley can always bring them snacks and soda. Her father originally planned to turn the place into a man cave, complete with a couch and a big TV, but he's been overwhelmed with work lately, so most of the time, the friends are free to use the shed. But that day, they aren't alone. Chris, Ashley's older brother, is already inside, lying on a shabby carpet and playing a new Saga Genesis. Only as they enter does Ashley remember that Chris is grounded for coming home drunk from a party. He isn't allowed to see his friends for a month, but some of his buddies might lend him the gaming console so he wouldn't get too bored at home. As the front door squeaks open, he swiftly hides a red pack of Marlboros under a pillow. It's just you suckers. I thought Dad showed up and was about to teach me how to live again. What you doing up here? Baby Ashley decided to show you our true family treasures. The shed is filled with dated furniture, living out its last days, and unused equipment covered in dust, plus other miscellaneous items the family are too lazy to get rid of. The scarecrow is freaking awesome. Ashley's family is rich enough that they don't need to sell all their junk, so a lot of it has been stuffed into the shed. Oh, I can click on it. I like this interactive aspect. I just keep forgetting that it exists. The old motorcycle, about 3 years ago. Before Ashley and Brian started dating, Brian saddled it up and drove it into the creek. Ashley burst into laughter, and Brian was banned from visiting Ashley's house. It seems the ban still hasn't been lifted. Do the parents not like him still? Is that what it means? An antique mirror. Little Ashley loved looking into it, imagining she was a Disney princess. Ava would barely even glance at the mirror. She was 110% convinced that Bloody Mary would come out of it if she wasn't careful. See, Ashley's like more like, oh, the world's at your fingertips kind of person, because she was born into a life where she was able to get most of what she needs, you know what I mean? Within reason. Whereas Ava's had to, it seems like, from what we know, has had to be a parent to her sibling and had to, like, life is harder for her. So she's more anxious. She's more, you know what I mean? She's not, she sees the world in a more realistic way. But I mean, this is also when they were kids. The scarecrow. The funny scarecrow from the Bennett's field. Ashley asked Chris to steal it after the Bennett's youngest daughter lost her doll. It was hard to believe, but Ava swore the scarecrow had moved on its own. Oh, that's awesome. Chris's battered punching bag. Someone must have thrown hatchets and darts at it. An archaic Atari Pong console. Ashley's father played it as a teenager, but the only controller broke long ago, and so did the console itself. Does it mean like, when you lost the controller, you can just no longer play it? Like, you know? Or did it actually break? Chris retrieves the cigarettes and pulls one out with his teeth. Brian notes the trick so he can try it later. He doubts his attempt will look as natural as Chris's did, but it's worth a little practice. What if he manages to impress the high schoolers or the guys from the neighboring town's baseball team? Taunting opponents and getting on their nerves is a time-honored tradition. Brian imagines himself strolling past them, deftly pulling out a cigarette, then smirking and asking why they sent a team of sissies to the game. Don't you have to stay in your room and feign remorse? And what about you? Shouldn't you be catching Z's, not wandering around in the dark? Or you want to see who can disappoint our parents the most? He exhales a ring of blue smoke. The winner is clear. No, unlike you, I care about my future. We just want to watch a cassette. Why don't you just go do something else for a bit? As if... So I can't persuade him, I don't have the option. Maybe if you had one of the items, like a Game Boy, you could persuade him. You know, you could be like, hey, we just got this. Do you want to try it? Ashley isn't going to back down. Her brother is as simple and predictable as an old penny. She won't even break a sweat fooling him. All you really need to know is whose opinion matters more to him than his own. Whose personal business he cares about more than video games. What he's afraid of missing out on. What will make him jealous. Ashley's eyes narrow slightly at Chris.
Тогда меняй телевизор на важную информацию. Важную для тебя, братец.
I'll trade the TV for some intel.
Предлагай.
Go on. He's still staring at the screen through a smoke cloud, frantically clicking the controller's
Мы
buttons.
встретили твоих дружков, Сэм и Бобби, кажется. Они спрашивали, не отменили ли родители наказание и сильно сожалели, что ты не сможешь составить им компанию.
We stumbled on your cronies out there, Sam and Bobby, right? They were asking if you're still grounded. They were pretty upset that you couldn't keep them company. Chris throws his sister a wary glance. Sam and Bobby are real douchebags. Rumors of their wicked deeds are always flying around town. Ashley knows Chris is afraid of them, but he'd still do anything to get into their gang. He's constantly schmoozing them with free drinks and cigarettes.
Думаешь, я куплюсь на это?
You really think I'm gonna fall for that?
Но это правда. Я тоже
If
видела
it's
их
true.
возле старой водонапорной башни.
It's
Кажется,
true.
они собирались
I also
забрать
saw
мотоцикл
them
Пэма
near the
и
old water
поехать на
tower.
мукомольный завод.
They were going to steal Pam's motorcycle and ride it to the flour mill. Chris jumps up, nearly burning his fingers on the cigarette.
Зачем, черт побери, им
Why the
понадобился
hell
завод?
were they going there? Chris knows his sister can make up nonsense on the spot if she wants to take advantage of something. But Ava he trusts. She's a good girl. He doubts she'd lie. He can see right through his little sister. Ashley thinks she's a master manipulator, but her expression is a dead giveaway when she's lying. But Ava's is different. They've known each other forever, and she never lies so blatantly, unless, of course, it comes to stories about ghosts that haunt the old school, or the mysterious drowned man the girls totally met at the lake that one day.
Дедушка рассказывал, что водители тягачей иногда тайно привозят на завод бурбон в канистрах. И многие местные покупают его в ночную смену. Лучший бурбон, какой можно достать в нашем штате. Так он говорил.
Grandpa says truck drivers sometimes sneak bourbon into the factory in gas cans and sell it to the night shift workers. Best bourbon in the state, that's what he says.
Но покупать выпивку эти парни точно не станут.
I bet they weren't gonna buy it, they were gonna steal it. That would be
Это было
fun.
бы весело.
He yanks his sneakers on and rushes for the door, but before he leaves, he glances over his shoulder and sneers.
Смотри, очкарик.
Watch out, Four
Если
Eyes.
вы меня
If you're
надуете,
trying to ditch
вместо
me,
следующей
your
боксерской
ass is
груши
gonna
я
be in my
повешу
punching
на
bag
твоих
next
заказах.
time. Ava, you don't count.
Тебя
Chris disappears into the night, and Michael wipes the cold sweat from his
Он
forehead.
же не станет
He
меня
isn't gonna
платить.
punch me, is he?
Не станет?
Это ж брат Эшли. Они
It's just
оплачивают
Ashley's
старших
brother,
классов,
not some damn
собирающих
high
эти
schooler
деньги.
who likes robbing kids. Ashley doesn't really agree. Chris has changed a lot lately. He used to play sports. He never smoked or followed complete idiots before. Their parents were proud of his medals and trophies. Their dad claimed any college would accept Chris on an athletic scholarship if he didn't make it academically. And once he entered college, he would straighten out. But there's nothing left to straighten out anymore. Nobody offers scholarships for partying or hanging out around bad company. Chris's boxing gloves are already gathering dust under his bed. His empty shelves and hooks aren't expecting any new awards anytime soon.
Ну что, за
Let's
дело?
just start, okay? She glances at the moon. The cassette is not the only reason she wants to hurry up.
Включай, Брайан.
Brian changes the TV to AV mode and slides in the cassette. Static noise dances on the screen, curved and covered in dust. The speakers let out a soft hiss, followed by a squeak.
Надеюсь, она не пустая.
Hope the tape's not blank, otherwise Michael's gonna get beat up for no reason. He should be like, hey!
Она не может быть пустой.
It can't be
Садитесь
blank.
поскорее,
Hurry up
чтобы
and
ничего
take
не
your seats.
пропустить.
I don't want to miss anything. Ava settles down against one of the pillows, and her friends follow suit. The TV continues flickering, disrupting the peace of the shed. The wind sweeps out of the fields and descends on the suburb, sneaking through the streets like a wild animal prowling for prey. It shoves the shed, making it sway and creak like a popping joint. The only other lamp flickers, casting shadows on the piles of garbage in the corners. Is there any other light in here? As if to answer Michael's question, a picture begins to form on the screen. The black and gray static stripes morph into an image, taking on colors and shapes. One part becomes studio walls. Another area changes into the decorated set of a Friday night show. The rest turn into the body of a game show host wearing a striped suit jacket. The host is half turned and staring at the camera as if waiting for a director's signal to start, or trying to see the audience on the other side of the screen.
По крайней мере,
At least he's not a maniac.
Я бы не торопилась с
Don't
выводами.
speak too soon. An invisible orchestra bursts of music, so cacophonous that the players should have been whipped for their miserable performance and never allowed to lay hands on an instrument again.
Приветствую вас, дорогие зрители.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Oh, that's it. So, the title of this demo is Pink Noise. I don't know if I mentioned that. But obviously I started here, so hopefully you guys saw. It looks really like it's gonna be a good game. Chill vibes. I like the idea of pink noise and it having to do with, like, you know, a cassette tape. You know what I mean? Like, that connects. And also that there's other creepy things happening as well, potentially, and just from learning about one of the moms that paints, like, really weird stuff, and, like, you know, someone else, there was something else too, and then the guy at the game store, oh, the, how did I forget the Rubik's Cube? So, it'll be a lot. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in another one. Bye-bye!